what does it mean to be an Australian? The beauty of this country is in the multiculturalism that it represents. The beauty of Australia is in its indigenous generation, which makes this country so historically rich, makes its past, present and future so special. Having grown up on the run and away from home, and then becoming a Kurdish refugee here in Australia at the age of 5, I spent my childhood trying to fit in, trying to be the same as everybody else, trying so hard to be Australian, until I discovered that being Australian meant staying true to my Kurdish identity. Someone very wise once told me, if you don't know where you come from, then you don't know where you're going. Being true to my Kurdish identity allowed me to fit into this society, which is comprised of so many different cuisines, so many different beautiful traditional clothing, so many different mother tongue languages. So I started writing about Kurdistan. I started talking to people about where I was from. I started talking about the Kurdish struggle. I started becoming proud of who I was. Coming from one of the oldest still living civilizations on earth, I realized how important it was to keep our ancestry alive. So I got involved with the local Kurdish school here, set up here in Adelaide, to teach Kurdish and other children how to read and write in the Kurdish language. I then got involved, initiated and even set up worldwide projects to help health and education back home in Kurdistan. And last year, I took the initiative to start a Kurdish youth group right here in Adelaide. I realised that there were so many other youth who, just like me, were going through an identity crisis. Were stuck and going through a cultural shock. Were victims of the cultural gap, which comes from what we learn from what our parents know as their culture and the culture of this new adapted home. I wanted to create a space where the youth could come together and connect on common grounds. I wanted them to learn to be proud of where they came from and who they are, to then go on and become voices and advocates for their rights and for their people and for what they believe in. Using our language, history and culture, I wanted them to learn to teach our parents and our future generations how to better understand ourselves as a community, to be the catalyst to close that cultural gap. To close that cultural gap which continues to drive communities and families apart, which continues to drive our youth into gangs, violence and drugs instead of to education and careers. According to the census, less than 1% of Kurdish migrant youth will graduate from a bachelor's degree, and only a few of those will go on to get postgraduate education. Using our common language, our rich history and our common culture, we aim to change these statistics drastically. I want to change this community to make sure that we maintain more Kurdish youth behind books than behind bars, by promoting education, health and well-being, by being symbols of who the Kurdish people really are and who we want our future to be, to ultimately not just improve this country, but hopefully to go on and improve the world for everyone. As we say in Kurdish, zor spas. Thank you very much.